Production of the J.R. Eldridge Show is made possible with financial support from Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments. The accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PLLC. Southern Bancorp. Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts. Jostens. Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Taylor King, Personal Injury Lawyers. Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation. Welch Funeral Home. Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. And Southwest Sporting Goods. This is the J.R. Eldridge Show with the coach of the Arkansas State Champion Football Badgers. Joining Coach Eldridge today is your host, Caleb Bird.
Welcome back to another week of the J.R. Eldridge Show. I'm your host, Caleb Bird. We're joined as always by Coach Eldridge. And Coach, it was a really exciting night. Friday night, the Badgers traveled up to Malvern and they faced their rivals in the Ouachita River Rumble. And it was a big win for Arkadelphia, 66-0 over Malvern. They really just dominated the entire game.
Yeah, I was really proud of our football team. You know, just felt like they really did exactly what we asked them to do in practice throughout the entire week. And then we were able to carry that over into the game on Friday night. You know, really special teams, offense, defense, felt like we just did a great job dominating. You know, just looking forward to another great week of practice.
Yeah, Coach, and it was after a big win against Bauxite and coming in a game against Malvern. Malvern was 0-9 heading into the game. But Arkadelphia didn't overlook the Leopards. They really came in without a hangover and played, you know, the best of their ability the entire game.
Yeah, and we really tried to focus on that throughout the week of practice, making sure that, you know, that you never want to play down to the level of your opponent. You always want to try to play your best football. That's one of the things that we've been talking about all really these last several games is you know, let's start playing our best football toward the end of the regular season, take that momentum into the playoffs. Felt like our players really took a hold of that and really did that in practice. You know, making sure that we're focusing on our fundamentals, making sure that we're focusing on the little things that we need to do right to be able to win football games.
All right, Coach, it was an exciting game. The Badgers won, like we said, 66-0. Let's take a look at the highlights here. First play of the game, Malvern kicked an onside kick. Arkadelphia did a nice job recovering the onside and then some ball movement here on offense.
Yeah, Javante really did a good job recovering that football. It's a tough kick to field. And then we really start off with a good run by Cannon. Then we probably should have caught that ball, but we also should have ran a better route over here on the left side to hold that safety from getting to our tight end. Then we get a really good run by Zion called back on a holding penalty.
Yeah, and then a drop pass here from Victor. That's really uncharacteristic. Usually catches that pass.
Really is. Kind of disappointed in this first offensive possession, but you know, really just excited about the way our defense played. I think they only had 39 total yards of offense in the first half.
Yeah, coming out here in the first quarter, it took Malvern 3 to 4 drives before they even picked up a single yard. They had -8 yards after the third drive of their offense.
Yeah, it really felt like our defense did a great job of fitting in the right spots versus the run, and then being in the right spots versus the pass as well.
Good return here from Carlos Haney, but that's a really nice block from Kyron Harrison. I mentioned that as soon as I saw this play, that Harrison, that was a hard block to make. A lot of times you might see a penalty in that kind of block, but Harrison got around the front of him and made a really nice hit.
It was a great job by both Kai and Carlos. Carlos fielding that ball in traffic. We were able to get the ball in great field position. We really just dominated the field position battle all night.
Yeah, the first quarter, I do not believe the ball ever crossed the 50-yard line into the Arkadelphia side of the field. Either Arkadelphia took possession on their side of the 50 and they never let Malvern cross. So it was really good field position for the Badgers the whole first quarter.
Really was. Throughout the entire game, Malvern's average start line was the -15. Ours was the 47-yard line, so it was really, really good for us.
Nice pass and catch there from Turner to Zion Hatley. He was wide open on the wheel route, and then did a nice job. He took a little hit and bounced in the end zone. So nice speed, and then a little bit of confidence on the hit to get in the box.
Yeah, it's really good play design by Coach Moreland. We've been able to hit wheel routes on Malvern since 2015. We had another one drawn up. Great execution by Cannon and Zion, and really everybody on the offense on that play.
Nice job forcing the punt there from the defense. Arkadelphi's offense coming out now, and they're going to have to make a little bit of a drive now. Not too many big runs, but some good plays to move the chains and drive the ball down to try and get in the end zone once again.
Yeah, I thought we were able to distribute the ball really well. You saw Buster run it, you saw Zion run it, then you see Cannon run it right here. So really good. It's good to be able to spread the ball out throughout our offensive skill guy unit, and so that was very helpful, being able to drive the football.
Gabe Goodman did an excellent job Friday night on his kickoffs, on his extra points. He made all his extra points, and then kicked. I'm not sure how many touchbacks he had, but he either kicked all touchbacks or stopped the Malvern return man within the 15-yard line. So really nice job on kickoffs, and then alongside it with the onside kick.
Yeah, we had several TFLs on our headhunters unit. Caleb Eddy had two. Thought he did an excellent job, and then Gabe, of course, continues to kick the ball really well. And then our headhunters unit just covering down.
Defense there bursting through the line of scrimmage, getting a nice sack, but then a running into the punter here is going to give Malvern a first down.
Yeah, really missed execution there. We're not supposed to try to block that right there. We're supposed to try to force the kick right there, make sure the ball's kicked. We ended up running into the punter right there.
Arkadelphia is still able to make the spot, get the ball back on offense. Now we've moved into, I believe, into the second quarter now. A nice screen pass there to KJ Terry, and Terry did a really nice job on offense in this game. You don't really see a lot of him on offense, but he did a really nice job on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he and Staten Witten have been doing really good, both of them at tight end. We were able to find some plays to get the tight end the ball this week. KJ did a really nice job on that screen, and then later on you'll see on an RPO where KJ is wide open down the field, makes a great catch and run for a touchdown.
Nice job there from Kai Harrison on the touchdown. And he has a really good first cut on his runs. That's something I've noticed about Kyron, is that whenever he runs, he makes one cut and then he's gone.
Yeah, you can just say a lot about Kyron. You see him here on defense. You see him on offense, being able to run through tackles. We love Kyron in the red zone inside the 20-yard line going in because he does just such a great job breaking tackles. Then you saw him on the tackle there. We'll see him on a block punt here in a little bit. Just playing really good football.
Kyron's the kind of guy that he can play anywhere on the football field.
He really can. He just the way he plays violently, he plays hard, and just gets after it every time he's out on the field. So you love coaching guys like that, and a lot of times, this is a great run by Buster right here, but a lot of times, those guys are easy to coach because they're harder on themselves than a coach could ever be. And that's one of the things I love about Kyron, is that he's more upset about not doing the right thing when he doesn't do the right thing than a coach is about him not doing the right thing. So, and that's why he does the right thing the most of the time. Continuing
to get in the end zone here is Arkadelphia. I believe now the score is 36-0 in the game. The defense still coming out. The head-hunting unit here drops the kick return down inside the 10-yard line. Continuing to play an all-around game.
Yeah, I thought really our offense, defense, and special teams, the way we were able to play really kind of took the life out of Malvern early, and they really were never able to get any life. so it was really good by all three phases.
We missed a safety just a minute ago. There was a safety, a blocked punt back into the back of the end zone, and then back out on offense after the safety punt. Nice pass and catch to KJ Terry.
Yeah, it was just another good play design and then great execution on the play. And also that safety was huge, and the block punt. We've been looking for a block punt, all season long, and really it was good for us.
Now it's still the first half, but able to get Buster Thomas some experience at quarterback, hands it off to Kai Harrison, who has another nice touchdown run, his second of the game. But it's still in the first half, and you're getting some experience for some of those younger guys, and even some freshmen getting some playing time out there.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, even this is our second Headhunters unit, and I mean, just guys running down the field and making plays. You love to be able to see that. And you've got Kalen Jones has really been such a great practice player for us this year. He's able to run the ball a little bit later, and then also playing some safety. Keelan Nelson has been a great player for us on special teams, and even in key moments at safety. And then some of our younger D-line, O-line guys. But again, Caleb Eddy on another TFL on our Headhunters unit, just great job.
Yeah, the second half now, score at halftime 52-0. The Badgers led Malvern, and now second half coming in. Nice stop from the defense, and then, like you said, Kalen Jones doing a nice job at running back now.
Yeah, I really felt good about the way our second groups really came in, and just I felt like they continued to dominate the game, against Malvern's first group right there. Kalen Jones running really hard, and felt like our offensive line and our perimeter blocking was really good. It's a great run by Dion Hunter right here.
Yeah, good job by the senior getting in the end zone, his last regular season game. But Dion Hunter's a guy that's every time he comes in the game for the Badgers, he always does a good job. And that time, getting a chance here near the end of the game and getting a good touchdown.
Yeah, Dion, he's been a real committed football player for us. Does a great job in practice. Does a great job when he gets in the game. He's just a great young man and good football player. So those guys are so important to our football program.
So good run by Hunter. The Badgers lead now at this point is 59-0. And I believe that Arkadelphia scored on every offensive possession after that first one where they had to punt the ball away.
Yeah, it's really, again, we're just, this is a great play offensively, and just we're running the clock down to 3 to 5 seconds every play. That we're not trying to run the score up. What we're trying to do is get those guys reps in a football game, and Caleb Eddy with the touchdown, Kalen Jones running the ball really well, our offensive line really doing a good job blocking, defensively being able to handle their offensive line up front, and then our linebackers running to the football. I mean, even those clips toward the end, you saw our defense just running to the football, and those are simple fundamentals that we feel like make a huge difference in a football game, and it made a huge difference for our younger guys who were in there playing really, really hard.
Yeah, and that was something you saw a lot of last year, was the younger guys getting playing time, and then it really carried into this season when those younger guys who played in the inning games last year came in this year were expected to play a big role in the team. They already had some of that experience.
Yeah, so that was really good. I feel like our, as we move forward, we're just continuing to get better because of that experience, and we really, as a football coaching staff and as a football team, our desire, our goal, our mission is to be playing our best football every week from here on out. And I feel like in practice, we have practice yesterday, getting prepared for Gosnell, and our football team, I felt like the energy and the effort was really good, the focus was really good, and so I'm just looking forward to continuing to work with our football team and our coaches as we move forward here.
Yeah, and Coach, let's talk a little bit about the progression of your team throughout this season. As we've gone on throughout the year, the team has just continued to get better and better. So let's talk a little bit about that. What area of your team do you think you've seen the most improvement in this season?
Well, I just think, as we started off, we're making mistakes that really, key mistakes. Some of the mistakes that we had made, we had even made in the preseason the year before. We were just playing really good teams, but I feel like we've just played cleaner football. We didn't have many fumbles even in those first 5 games, but we were turning the ball over, whether it was through the air or on our punt team. We turned the ball over several times. We feel like we got some of those things cleaned up, and then just some momentum as we started winning football games. It's that kind of eliminates some doubt. So we look forward to continuing to eliminate that doubt. And believe in ourselves, our coaches and our teammates, and have that energy and effort, and great morale in the locker room. I feel like our team has grown in its team unity. It's no matter what team you are, as you move from, you have those losses, there's always negativity, and the biggest challenge is to stay positive, stay focused, keep good energy, make sure that there's not that lingering doubt, and then also make sure that there's not that bickering. Make sure that we focus on ourselves and we don't listen to outside noise, if you will. And I feel like our team really was able to do that as we move forward into the meat of our conference schedule. We were able to win a big game versus Bauxite, and then continue through those last 5 games undefeated. And we just look forward to moving forward and hopefully being able to play our best football as we move forward.
Yeah, Coach, and something the win allowed you to do this week is host a playoff game. That's something that 5 weeks ago, seemed kind of far off to host a playoff game, but now you're in the opportunity. You got the 3 seed from the conference, from the 7-4A, and now Arkadelphia gets to host a home playoff game Friday night.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, to me, it's really kind of historical because, 2012 was the first home playoff game that Arkadelphia had had in a long, long, long time. And then you go to, we hosted in 2013, so 12 and 13, 2 years in a row. And then 14, 15, and 16 we're on the road. 17 we end up hosting again. We're able to host this year. So that's really exciting for our football team. And what it does, in 14 we were a quarterfinal team, and but we had to go a long way. We had to go to Gosnell in 14. Then in 15 we have to go. I can't even remember where we started off. I think it was Pottsville maybe. But it's that first home playoff game, being at home in front of your home crowd, having your basically all working parts there, the band being there. It's just a great atmosphere, great environment, and so we look forward to being in front of our home crowd and being able to hopefully put on for our city and do a great job in our game versus Gosnell.
Yeah, Coach, you're going to carry a lot of momentum into the game. 5 wins in a row, 5 really, really strong performances in a row, especially this past week against Malvern. What is that momentum doing for your team right now?
Well, I think it's just kind of, again, I think the energy, the effort, and the focus and practice, that momentum leads to that. And we believe that if you've got to have great practices to have great games. So that momentum has helped us in practice to have good practices. And we're facing an opponent who's kind of on a similar stretch right here. They've won 4 in a row. Gosnell has, and so we've got to have great practices to be able to put on a good performance on Friday night, and we look forward to that.
All right, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about Gosnell. It's not a team that a lot of people around Arkadelphia know much about. We haven't played Gosnell, and I guess we played in 2014, but it's not a team we play every year. So give us a little bit of a preview. What is Gosnell's team like this year? You know, what kind of offense do they run, defense? You know, how have they done this year?
Yeah, so Gosnell, you know, predominantly they end up winning that conference. They did not win that conference this year. Rivercrest, a team that went from 3A to 4A, won that conference up there. You know, and Gosnell, they've always got really good athletes. When I was at Ouachita, we'd always have some good recruits from Gosnell, and you know, so they've got good athletes. They're a very physical football team. They run to the football really well on defense, on offense. They play really hard. You know, so we're going to have to match that intensity and exceed that intensity. We're going to have to match that violence and be as physical as we can possibly be on Friday night. You know, and then the one thing, you know, they're only going to end up bringing about, they've got, I think, 33 guys on their roster. So, you know, we're used to seeing more players across the way. You know, Nashville with about 60, Bauxite with 60, Robinson with about 55 to 60. You know, so we're used to seeing that in our conference. So they're going to have fewer players. You know, and offensively, they're similar to a Bauxite. They like 32 personnel, so they have 3 backs in the backfield, 2 tight ends. Sometimes they'll be in 31 personnel where they're widening one of those tight ends out, and then sometimes in 30 personnel. But you can expect to see 3 backs in the backfield, a fullback with 2 wings, or a fullback with a wing and a slot and a tight end. You know, and they predominantly run the football, and they'll try to surprise you with a pass here and there. But they've got 2 backs, really a good quarterback that does a great job handling the ball. And then they've got 2 backs that are really good, and then a fullback that's mainly a blocking back, and then they'll give it to them on the trap every now and then. Defensively, you know, one of the things that I would say about Gosnell is that they're really simplistic, but they do what they do really well. Defensively, you know, a couple different coverages. They're going to have a couple different fronts, but they're going to do what they do really well. So defensively, they like cover 3. Sometimes they'll be in a 4-down front, sometimes a 3-down front with 2 box linebackers, and then their outside linebackers. They've got an outside linebacker that's really, really good, and the other one's pretty good as well. They've got a free safety that's really, really good. You know, so we'll look forward to a great challenge on Friday night on special teams. You know, they're a little bit different up in their conference. They do some different stuff on special teams that, you know, we see some different looks on special teams, so we've got to prepare for those things to be ready for Friday night. But we're looking forward to the challenge, to having great practices this week.
And you mentioned Gosnell's a team that has really improved as the season gone on, just like Arkadelphia has. I know that Gosnell's team defeated Jonesboro Westside last week. They mercy ruled them in the last game of the season, and that was a game to see who was going to get that 3 seed in their conference. So they're a team, I guess, that's really come on as the season's gone on, and maybe they didn't have such a strong start, but are getting better as the season's gone on.
Well, from what I understand, during the middle part of the season, you know, they maybe lost one of their games to another really good team in their conference. They had a couple guys hurt, you know, and that makes a difference when you don't have as many players. They lost that game. They kind of got in a slump, so they lost 2 in a row, and then they really bounced back and started playing well. I think they got their injured player back, and they've really bounced back and kind of been on a roll ever since. And then the Jonesboro game, they really just dominated. They were able to create turnovers. You know, they were able to force some fumbles, and that says something about how their defense flies to the ball. You know, so they were able to create those turnovers, get the ball back, and score, and just kind of dominated that game versus Jonesboro Westside.
Is your team going to approach this game any differently, being that it's a playoff game?
You know, one of the things that we try to talk about every year and every week is, you know, we want to treat every opponent the same. We want to make sure that we've got our game plan set on offense, defense, and special teams. We want to make sure our players are really focused on on doing their job correctly as hard as they can. So really we're trying to treat every opponent the same, and really just focus on week 1 of the playoffs, because really in the whole scheme of things, that's really all that we can control. We can control what we do in practice. We can control what we can do in the game on Friday night, as long as we're controlling what we do in practice. One of the things that we talked about is make no predictions about what's going to go on within the bracket. There's so many people that want to go ahead and predict what's going to happen. There's no way last year we could have predicted that West Helena was going to have a wreck on the way to our football game at Arkadelphia. I mean, we just can't predict those things, and so why even think or worry about those things? Why not just focus on what's right ahead of us, and that's practice for Tuesday. That's making sure that we're focusing on the correct things in practice and focusing on the week that's right in front of us, knowing that the big picture can take care of itself.
All right, Coach, and it's going to be a long, long trip for Gosnell, up from, how long is it, 4.5 hours away maybe?
Yeah, it is. It's almost up to Missouri, so it's kind of the last town in Arkansas. Yeah. On the Missouri line. One of their preseason opponents was a Missouri school, and I think it's right down the road. But and those are things that teams have to overcome. And I expect that Gosnell has talked about that. They've got a good plan for their road trip, just like we did when we traveled up there. So we've got to be prepared and do the best that we can in practice and the best that we can on Friday night.
Right, Coach. Well, it's going to be a really exciting game. Despite the long trip, I'm sure Gosnell is going to be ready to play, and they're going to probably play their best game of the season against the Badgers Friday night. So hopefully the Badgers come out and play their best game of the season as well. It's going to be really exciting at Badger Stadium Friday night, 7 p.m. Badgers are hosting the Gosnell Pirates. Try to come out to the game and support your hometown team, but if you can't make it, tune in on the live stream, APSD-TV.com. We'll be back next week with some more of the J.R. Eldridge Show, so we will see you then.
The J.R. Eldridge Show is sponsored by Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, Welch Funeral Home, Southwest Sporting Goods, Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, Attorneys at Law, Jostens, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Southern Bancorp, Taylor King, Personal Injury Lawyers, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation, Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler, PLLC, and Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. Join us again next week for more Badger football action with Caleb Bird and head coach J.R. Eldridge.